You. Glad to be here. Looks like more people are outside. The only people inside are who are taking pictures or waiting for their next panel to come here, but that's great. You would have seen that we have chosen this panel very carefully. Everyone's name begins with A, one B, because in the Bengali vocabulary it starts with B and not A. So we are all A's over here on this panel. Interestingly, yesterday I was in Bombay. I work with the Aditya Birla group. And this idea of manel, no one had heard of. So I was explaining to them. And thankfully, we have Anu today. And I won't be trolled on social media for sharing a manel. So anyway, our job is to figure out what are the GCCs doing around their AI strategy and roadmap. So just before we started, Samir cut our time by 10 minutes and said, you just have 20 minutes or something like that. So we are now going to be more efficient. So I'll just have two questions for the panel. One will be their story. And the second will be their advice to all of us and what they can take away. So we'll start from the other end. And my first question to all the panelists will be to say, just talk about your own story, your own journey on this topic of AI strategy and roadmap as you see it. If you are a captive, then your own. If you are a consultant, then you can talk about what you see in your clients. So let's start from the other end.
Thanks, Pankaj. My name is Mohammed Anzy. I lead the Guidewire India practice. I'm not sure how many of you know about Guidewire. Can you please raise your hands if you know about Guidewire? Good. So Guidewire is a software platform organization which kind of focuses on property and casualty insurance industry. We've been there in the industry for the last 20 years, primarily focused on the US and European market. One of the key challenges for us was moving a lot of our customers to the cloud. The cloud transformation was one of the biggest challenges that we had. We embarked on that challenge almost 10 years back, and we were really, really successful. Half of our customers are in the cloud. The other half, we are trying to encourage them to move to the cloud. But one of the key premises that we really looked at when we actually set up this organization was primarily to focus on have extreme obsession towards problems, not the solutions, right? How can we actually help our customers to adopt innovation faster? How we can really help them to create new products, especially in the insurance market, right? And again, as many of you know, insurance as an industry is very, very complex, highly regulated. To bring out any kind of technology or cultural change in the system, it is very, very tough. So for us, the milestone one was really moving to the cloud, which we actually did. The second milestone was how do we adopt newer technologies, right? That's where we started our AI journey almost 3 years back. Again, it was not a standalone conversation that we had. We really infused AI into multiple segments, be it process intelligence or accelerating configuration or customization of our solutions, or be it getting new insights from our applications, right? These are the three verticals, how we did it. And just to give you a very basic example, how we are leveraging Gen AI, traditionally, if you have to roll out an insurance product in the market, especially in the US context, it takes almost 8 to 12 months, right from ideation till we roll out the product. We have infused Gen AI. We can actually create a policy document with all the different flavors of the new product. And you can just upload this document to our product designer, and you can actually create it overnight. That's a kind of change that we have brought together with Gen AI in our portfolio. And in process intelligence, again, looking at data insights, looking at how, again, for an insurance organization, we have to make sure that we deliver innovation at the same time, cut all our losses, right? That's one of the premium that we do. So again, there also we kind of looked at how do we infuse AI at multiple levels and created different insights for our customers to leverage this product. In short, our journey was really, really great. Again, the GCC journey, right? I mean, unlike Pankaj, I only had the opportunity to work with two organizations. I spent 18 years with SAP, scaling from 3,000 organization to 16,000 organization in India. Built 5 different locations. Then after that, I moved to Guidewire. So one of the key insights that I learned over the journey was primarily looking at where should we create our value prop, right? For us, at Guidewire, we were very, very clear when we set up the GCC in India, it should be around a specific value prop, and that was the customer or the cloud data platform. So the Guidewire cloud data platform is completely built out of India, and there is a very significant contribution comes from us. So this again fueled, I mean, rather than really going a kind of a horizontal approach towards building GCC, we really focused on one specific problem statement, which the organization really wanted to move and built on that. I'll take a pause here. And
Ankit.
Thank you, Pankaj. So probably let me highlight a few of the challenges I see, right? The first challenge, what I see is, the right choice of the use case, right? Whenever any AI COE or any, enterprise is choosing a Gen AI or AI use case, the right use case is the biggest thing, right? Because you have to have the right exec sponsors, and you need to also have at least a high-level strategy for ROI from that use case, right? Because that's something which is missing many times, and you get stuck in between. The second thing is tech, right? Most of the Gen AI use cases, they move from an API to a fine-tuning to a RAG to a, probably a narrow development of open source model. So that's how they move, right? Choosing the right tech and data, right? That's very important. Third is resources, right? Again, we start building our use cases, but again, in midway, we find the cost is too high, and I think that's a challenge. The fourth is, which is the biggest piece, which is every GCC should be aware, is the global, state of regulation, right? And self-governance, because EU is coming with AI Act, right? And again, US has executive order, India has own way, right? But again, I think they should have a strategy or probably a point of view on governance, because if they don't have it at the start, they will fall flat when they move ahead, right? These are a few points I would want to say.
Thanks. I know.
Fortunately for me, I don't think I need much of an introduction for Sony. I think all of us are quite familiar with Sony. So Sony, we know, has been the front runners when it came to media revolution, when TV and radio was introduced. However, with network media, as well as some of the tech giants, we were compelled to make a pivotal shift from being distributors of content to creators of content. Like our CEO calls it, it is from distributing Kando to creating Kando. Kando is probably a new word for most of you. It's the essence of our philosophy, and it translates into to move people emotionally. And that is the essence of Sony, and that has been the heartbeat of Sony all through. So when we were traversing this journey of technology innovation, we ensured that this innovation is just not an adoption, but it's integrated into the core of our business. I'll just spend a few minutes on how Sony is approaching AI adoption. The scale, the volume, the legacy of the organization is definitely coming in the way of adopting any change, and leave it for a brutal force like AI for us to adopt it. And on top of that, our fears towards our information security, information leakage. However, I think we had to overcome it, and we are now approaching it in 3 tangents or 3 pillars: people, platforms, and products. We've always believed that for us, for successful innovation, we have to start with our people. And what more than generative AI, or more specifically, democratized generative AI to start with? Making advanced AI capabilities, more accessible. We are looking at a larger workforce, non-skilled workforce, creating quality outcome almost similar to the highly skilled workforce. It's the disruption. We have to believe it, right? The other one is the augmented software development. And this is something which is far away in future. We are at present adopting it. And on top of that, the co-pilots, the augmented employee engagement, the multiple potential in steering our employees to success. And Sony, the amalgamation of all these thoughts, we channelized into an enterprise LLM. Very proud to share that Sony has announced its own enterprise LLM, which is nothing different but our ChatGPT, but within the safe realms of Sony network. And the first 100 days, we had almost 1 million searches, and we are like spellbound by the potential of this impact and benefit it's going to create in Sony. Quickly moving on to platforms, intelligent platforms is what we are looking at. Platforms that will talk to the end consumers, understand the consumer sentiments, and make personalized recommendations. Platforms that are never going to go down. right? Self-healing platforms. And on the platform area, another segment, many people have already spoken about it, is data. I'm not stretching more on that, but we are very, very strong and strict about our data and our data readiness for AI. The most interesting part, though, is product, and for Sony, we are all excited. Sony AI was launched in 2020 by our then R&D head Kitano-san, and he's now the CEO of Sony AI. And the goal or the mission for Sony AI, and if you've heard me before, is to basically achieve audacious possibilities in the world of AI. So I know a lot of speakers told about being conservative in our AI journey, but I think in our organization, we are taking a hybrid approach. Just to talk about 3 products that we are doing. One is the Gran Turismo Sophie. Gran Turismo is a racing game that is published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, and Sophie is a path-breaking AI agent that is actually racing against all the expert drivers and acing it, giving a completely different experience for our drivers. Afila, many of you might know, it's Sony's flagship project in mobility, and we are connecting entertainment and safety and connectivity together, and that's something that we are all proud of. Atrios, which is actually transforming the way IoT and AI is elevating our smart cities, smart factories, is another. I mean, I think the list is long. I'll not go into the details. I think I'll just pause at one thought. I think we all in our diverse AI journey is weaving the fabric for our future. I think all of us have to be very careful that the human aspect has to be at the center of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Akshay.
Yep. Am I audible? Yeah,
yep.
Cool. I have a tendency to ramble on, so I'm going to set a timer. So I don't cross the time limit. All right. So quickly, I work with StatusNeo. I head our global technology architecture practice. StatusNeo, our focus is product and platform engineering. We're about just over 4 years old, and we only specifically work in the niche of digital transformations, DevSecOps and cloud, and data, right? And data takes us all the way to Gen AI. I'll get into that in a little bit, but our GCC experiences over the last 1.5 years, we've sort of, across various dimensions, set up about 7 different GCCs for various partners, right? And that's from infrastructure in certain cases to resourcing and staffing, and then primarily, our focus is engineering operations, right? We strongly believe that if you have the right software delivery assembly lines, right, to borrow a phrase from other industries, everything else slots into place around that, right? So people, process, IT, infrastructure, everything. It's all in the service of making sure you can get faster to market, right? The core of our delivery lines is Backstage.io. That's a product which is used to build developer platforms. Spotify open sourced it about 4 years back. We were one of the earliest adopters. We actually brought it into India. We've done a lot of work to make it enterprise friendly, right? The 3 problems that we're solving with that is, one is just onboarding times. How quickly can you bootstrap teams inside GCCs? How quickly can you give people standardized software templates? How do you control chaos, right? From all of the disparate knowledge that exists in any large enterprise. So we use that. That's our baseline. We've had a lot of success building engineering on top of it. The next step that we're taking it forward now is, how do you build AI on top of it, right? How do you build the right templates to spin out AI applications very, very quickly? But with AI, as everyone has pointed out, the key challenge is, bias, data governance, all of those things, right? One of our key AI advisors, who's helped set our direction a lot, his whole stance is, you can really only adopt AI in 8 stages. There's this whole talk he did on Ashtang AI. And a lot of people are just not, so that's a booth theme this year. If any of you, you're welcome to walk over to the StatusNeo booth, which is stop, Gen AI washing. It doesn't really fit into everything, right? We've seen those failures as well. We have teams that have tried to do large-scale data analysis with Gen AI. Believe me, the hallucination is off the charts. Right. So we have a spotlight talk on that. Our data COE head will be doing that. You're all welcome to attend. Yep. I think I took up a minute.
Thanks, Bidhan.
Thank you. I think one of the things which I thought I'll add on is from a GCC or any clients or anybody solving an AI problem is probably try some alphabet soups. So hopefully I'll try to tell a story with 3 E's and couple of I's. And I think the whole objective at the end of any AI problem I've seen over the years is, can we understand what the customer needs are? That's the starting point of any problem, and help meet the customer in his or her or that customer's preferred channel, right? And this is customer's journey, and the second journey is the person or the customer or the client who is serving the client. How can it be efficiently done? So I think this is the problem that I have seen with any GCC, any client trying to solve through AI. Now the 2 I's and 3 E's, right? So 1 I is all about the intent or the interest of the customer. I think that's the most important that I've seen. People are trying to struggle from a couple of decades to today, trying to go real time from what we used to have like several days back or months back, what customers want, to I think the second is, can we understand from the person trying to solve for customer, can I really estimate the scope, estimate the problem of the customer, right? Second is like, can we predict or manage the customer demand, right? And provide it in the relevant channel so that the customer is happy getting in his or her preferred channel. Finally, I think, once we're able to predict and manage, I think the goal is another I, can we really influence the demand, right? I think the more we influence the demand, I think we can serve better efficiency, and I think I have seen that it improves customer experience, and all the while I think this 2 I's and 3 I framework, 3 E framework, I think has helped see my journey, and have read many articles which talk about how to summarize some of these themes. So I'll take a pause to pass it on.
Thanks.
Firstly, Pankaj, I think thanks much for having me here in the roundtable. To answer your first question as to the journey, what IBM has done in the AI space. So let me put a couple of aspects that we looked at. Okay. So the first thing is we heard today. Many speakers were saying that every GCC, every organization has experimented with AI. They've been doing a lot of pilots and really successful pilots in terms of their own specific use cases, right? Now that said, the problem that we see, and definitely I think somebody was mentioning, even Gartner sort of come out and told only 10% of the organizations has been able to scale up this at an enterprise level, okay? Now, the problem if you are not able to scale up is that you will really not be able to see the benefits, okay? Now, if you don't see the benefits, how are you going to convince your organization and your exec leadership that this is something that I need investment in? Okay, now this is the problem that all the AI leaders are facing within the organization. Now, some more aspects, if you look at it, when you try to scale up, okay, the problem is you need an environment which you can trust, right? The second will be this environment should be flexible, where it will allow the teams to sort of play, experiment with models. Then you should be able to load it with the data, your own data, and then train it, tune it the way you want, and then on top of it, add the guardrails, the way you want to secure it. Now, net-net, when you do all this, what you get is somewhere your organization IP hooked into it, right? Now, this is what we went through in IBM when we spoke to customers, and that is when we tried to stitch all this together. We came up with this platform, which is a What's Next AI platform. Now, what we also do other than that. So this is a platform that we are providing everyone. The second thing what we also done is we have sort of decided internally that we will open source something what we call internally as Granite models. Now, what is a Granite model is just a family of models that we have. So these are LLMs, which IBM is invested. So we have this in, say, code. We have this in languages. We have this in time series. We have this in climate change. We have this in cyber, right? Now, what we are talking about are LLMs which range from around 3 billion to 34 billion parameters, right? This is one thing that we have done for the community. The second thing what we have done is we have come out with What's Next assistants. So these assistants, you have assistants for code, assistant for enterprise Java, assistants for Z. We have also assistants where you can develop your own assistant. So we have done that as well. The third important factor that we've done, and our leaders have also touched upon, is we have started leveraging our technology partner ecosystem. So Santosh pointed out that we have the names like Adobe, SAP, Salesforce, ServiceNow, where we have infused AI into their solutions, all of them powered by watsonx, right? One of the things from a talent perspective, what we also have done is we have invested heavily on AI Academy. And I don't know if you have heard, just this month we have signed up a large partnership with HCL Tech, wherein we both are committed to train around 10,000 engineers in the AI and data space. And that will grow. The same thing we have been doing with AWS as well. Okay, so this is fundamentally what we are trying. Net, if you look at it, Pankaj, what we are trying to do is sort of, the approach is more like a holistic approach, a 360-degree approach, where we provide whatever required, right from platform to data architectures to talent, to sort of grow AI in the overall scheme of things. So that's where I want to just put it.
Thanks. So now we'll go in reverse order.
Oh, yes.
So 30 seconds each. One thing that you will tell the audience that you've learned that maybe they should avoid risk, because there are all kinds of risks in this journey. So one thing that each of you will tell the audience that you have faced it, seen it, and they should not repeat that mistake.
Okay. So, so we heard many of them, especially I think, I don't remember the speaker though, but we told many of the cases that we have seen success are in the customer experience space. There's been cases where there's a lot of success in AI which is used in the digital labor space. There's been success in, say, how code. So when I tell code, this is code as in programming. So how productivity in programming space companies have achieved, okay? But this said, I think our recommendation to GCCs and organizations would be, you should actually start with leveraging smaller models. And when I tell smaller models, these are models that you should use which are fit for purpose. So when I tell fit for purpose, these are those which are trained specifically for your organization, right? And there's a reason why I tell this, right? Now, running large LLMs is not a small thing. If you look at the energy consumption, if you look at the cost, if you look at the impact of using LLMs, it's humongous, right? Now, inside in the organization to convince them, this is the sort of investment that you have to look at when you want to infuse AI into the enterprise. Buy-in is not going to be so easily. So what we would suggest is, if we can, say like, take a small part of what overall cost that we would spend in LLM, and also a small part of the energy consumption that a smaller model will actually do. And then, if it can give delivery of same things, which the accuracy and the quality, that's what should be the big thing that we should do. And this is a massive advantage that all of us are going to get. Now, I use this if, right? Because we are also not sure. But given that there is a financial impact, there is a lot of investment that should go in, I think every organization, be it GCC or otherwise, should be cautious in terms of how you approach your AI strategy. And the financial impact has to be a key pillar in terms of how you take it forward. So
Bidhan, the title sponsor gets to talk a paragraph. All of you get one line. One line.
Okay, I think I will be quick. I think most GCCs or most client and AI, I think they think that they know which wall they're climbing, right? I'll borrow the climbing the wall example, because why do they think they can do any problem or any wall? Because they think they have the ladder, which is the AI solutions, right? I believe with LLMs, I think most people think they have the ladder, they can climb any wall only to get frustrated. So my advice would be, find the right wall. The ladder today is democratized. You can buy any ladder. I think it's there. I think it's like, it addresses two key points of industry: inability to calculate the ROI of AI projects, and second, the prioritization. Prioritization is the wall, ROI is the ladder and wall climbing exercise. So that's the takeaway that probably I'll leave with. Thank you.
Thanks, Akshay.
You can spin out a GenAI application in a day. That doesn't mean it's either accurate or production ready. So the one big success criteria we've seen is if you are an organization that needs the right guardrails and controls in place, we've done this. Consider building a central platform which builds in the organization's values, and then have teams come in and spin out the applications in a day. But that central platform which really governs the data and governs how your models will run is key.
I would say elaborate your R&D, strategize your implementation. Ensure that you cater to every single use case in the organization from a catalog point of view, so that time to market is faster when you have to implement it. That's the first point. Second is tackle internal bureaucracy. Most of the organizations compete internally rather than competing the market. We had at a point 4 departments in Sony working on the same AI ops model. Contain your bureaucracy. And the third thing is walk the talk. As leaders, try to adopt in your day-to-day lives, and I think bring the organization closer to AI. Thank you.
Thanks.
Probably one input for everyone would be, don't try to do it all, right? Have right partners, choose right partners, right? Partners for tech, services, as simple as, building a good governance platform. Choose a right teaming partner who can do it for you. Major people try to do it all and then they fall flat, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. From my side, there are 2 topics which we have learned over the years. The first one is that there is no perfect AI strategy because everyone is still debating what could be the right model. The second one is the power of coming together, right? Especially the GCCs, since all of us are pursuing for our own markets and industries, there is a greater benefit if we come together, have conversation on how we are addressing these challenges, especially from a talent perspective, upskilling perspective, and also the tools which are out there, right? There is a greater momentum that we can build. We've been doing for the past 7 months. There are meetups that we organize at multiple places where leaders and people who are working in the AI space come together and talk about the challenges and opportunities that we have and refine ourselves. And as I said, there is no perfect AI strategy. Every day, every week, we keep changing in terms of what are the new innovations and things which are coming up.
Thanks, panel. So the time is up. My sort of shorts, I won't say a summary, but my own takeaway is that the AI strategy has 3 layers, the why, how, and the what. The top layer is really all about your strategy, how you're connected to it. Your middle layer is all about the operating model, HR, finance, procurement ecosystem. And the bottom layer is the technology. And I connect it to my running journey of my head, my intent to run, my cardio, and my limbs. All 3 have to work together for you to be successful. Thank you, panel. Thank you very much.